What's going on, everybody? It's me, Mark Robertson, back in today. And everyone, the Kings did it. The Kings had a good draft. That's what we needed. Obviously, you can hear my voice is kind of out. Was having way too much fun at the draft party. But today I'm going to do my thoughts on the draft and review on how the Kings drafted, how it will benefit the team over time, and yeah. So let's get into it. And then really quickly, since my last video, this video is coming a little bit later in the week. I wish I would have gotten another video out. Earlier this week, I was able to go and hang out with Keith and the guys over at Sacramento. You guys should go check it out. I was in their mock draft podcast, but you know what? It's past draft now, and I'm gonna make a video right now. So, and we reached 74 subscribers. That's 10 more since the last time. 10. You guys are absolutely knocking it out of the park. Keep up the good work. Hopefully, by my next video, we'll have 80-something subscribers. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. So we're gonna go over the first 10, how it actually ended up being, and there were some pretty big things happened in that little bit of time. So number 1 was obviously Markelle Fultz to the 76ers. We've seen it coming for a long time. Number 2 was Lonzo Ball. We knew that was going to happen. Obviously, his dad said some crazy things. He did say that Lonzo will lead the Lakers into a first-year playoff run, which I don't see that happening at all because they don't really have a lot of assets to trade to the Indiana Pacers for Paul George. So that'll kind of put them back a little bit. And then also, so number 3, we go to Jason Tatum. That's a great pick for the Celtics. They needed an overall scorer. And if the talk is still in, there was a talk that there was gonna be Celtics in Indiana for Paul George, and there was gonna be some kind of extension with it. But I don't see that. And then Jason Tatum was gonna be involved in the trade, and I don't see that happening at all. The Celtics should know something. They should know by now that if you're going to get Paul George, it's going to be a 1-year rental, and then he's going straight to the Lakers. That's all you're going to get. He's a Lakers. He wants to play for the Lakers. There was talks that the Lakers were considering taking De'Aaron Fox at 3 instead of Lonzo Ball. But what happened was probably as soon as they knew that Lonzo was on the board, Paul George gave him a quick call and said, "Take Lonzo or I'm not coming," and they took Lonzo. So Lonzo's now on the Lakers, and yeah. So like I said, Jason Tatum at 3, overall good score. That's what they needed. Just another hard score or another good score. I know there's a lot of people that are kind of iffy on the fact that if he should start or not. I feel like Jay Crowder is going down because we haven't seen this last year was kind of a low point in his career. We didn't really see him doing much. But I like the idea of Jason Tatum coming in and being a starter. I like the idea of a rookie coming in and getting the coach's confidence to be a starter. But going on to number 4, I said Jonathan Isaac just because of how much the Suns were working him out, but they ended up going with Josh Jackson. That was a great choice. He'll still be in play if they still have talks with the Knicks, but I don't think there's any talks with the Knicks. Honestly, it's going to be really awkward watching Knicks games for Knicks fans because, seriously, you're going to have an unhappy Porzingis on your team that got dissed by his coach, and and you're gonna have a Carmelo on your team that that's probably not gonna waive his trade clause, which would benefit him to waive it in many ways, but in other ways he wants to stay with the team, wants to stay in his city, his team. So there's that. Moving on to number 4. We were waiting for it. All the pieces fell in place, and Vlade ensured it in the post interview when he said that if the Kings had the number 1 overall pick, we would have taken De'Aaron Fox over everybody, and I totally believe him. Even though Fultz and Ball are still in play, De'Aaron Fox is probably going to go down as one of the best players in this draft. It's probably going to be Fultz 1, Fox 2, maybe Jackson 2, and then Fox. But we were waiting for this. The Fox is coming home, and I got a little clip to show you, so let's show you that, and then I'll get right back to here.
The Sacramento Kings.
All right, we're back. But you guys saw the crowd was so excited. It was so much fun going and hanging out and watching the draft. It was a great draft. It was a great overall draft, not just for the Kings, for a lot of other teams, but a lot of in certain situations, I would say that the Kings are one of the biggest winners of this draft. They took 4 really talented players. One of them obviously has a little bit of health issues that is going to be addressed, but it's not the biggest elephant in the room. There's not really big elephants or not really big problems right now. It's more of just getting these guys focused and ready to play summer league, because once everybody is signed, and if Boban comes over, or Bogdanovic, when Bogdanovic comes over from overseas, it's gonna be 10 rookie contracts that you're gonna have on one team, which is probably some record or something. Like, that's crazy. But yeah, De'Aaron Fox is gonna be a great leader. We all saw it coming. He's super excited to be here. The coolest thing is, one of the things he wanted was, like, whoever drafts him to bring a visor, and the Kings got him a visor so, like, his hair can stick out. He looks so much better without the hat. The hat looks really odd. The visor looks a lot better. But yeah, I was hoping he was going to come in last night, because I was going to go and wait at the airport until he came in, but it's okay. I'll wait until I get to meet him some other time during a game. But to coming in, I'm going to say Fox is not going to be our starting point guard automatically. I feel like the Kings will probably re-sign either Darren or Ty, or Darren or Collison or Lawson. I'm hoping on the side of Lawson, because even though Darren has loyalty with this team, I don't like the idea of us getting Collison, because even though he's a fast player, I like the idea of someone who can stop on a dime and take a step back jumper, and Ty Lawson, and he's still super fast for his build. He's really, obviously shorter guys are faster, but like, just overall, he's a really fast player, and he can stop and shoot the ball when he needs to, and that could be a really good force for De'Aaron Fox in his shooting to get better. So I'm just gonna say I would rather see Ty, and then have Ty start for a little bit until De'Aaron got a little bit more used to the game. Moving on to number 6, the Orlando Magic ended up drafting Mr. Jonathan Isaac. Fills in their small forward position because they decided to move Aaron Gordon to the power forward position. It works out for everybody. Kind of thought he was going to go at 4. Kind of thought he was going to go a little bit later, but you never know in this draft. Moving on to number 7, there was a crazy big trade that happened. The Minnesota Timberwolves sent the 7th pick, which ended up being Lauri Markkanen. The 7th pick, seventh pick, Chris Dunn and the other dude, Zach LaVine, to the Chicago Bulls for Jason Pardon. I think that's his name. Jason Pardon. Whoever that 16 pick was, and Jimmy Butler, which is crazy because that lineup's going to be whoever point guard, Ricky Rubio, Derrick Rose, whichever one, Jimmy Butler, Wiggins, I guess Gorgie Dang, and Karl Anthony Towns. So that's going to be a really crazy driving force. You could even do Karl Anthony Towns and Jason Pardon if he gets good enough, which would be cool. And then moving on to number 8, we all knew this was coming. They had him locked down for weeks, probably in some bunker in New York. The Knicks decided to draft Frank Ntilikina from France. We all knew that was going to happen. Probably the pick would have been some kind of the pick would have ended up being used in a trade if Porzingis ended up getting traded. I'm not convinced Porzingis is not done getting traded, but if he doesn't get traded, that New York team is going to look like absolute garbage because even though Porzingis is going to be scoring, the dude ain't going to be happy that he's on a team that the general manager or the GM does not like him. And disses him openly on live television. So there's that. Moving on to number 9, Dallas Mavericks did take Dennis Smith Jr. It's the point guard that they've been looking for. So there you go. I've heard rumor that they want to pair up Dennis Smith Jr. with Drew Holiday if they can pry Drew Holiday away from if Drew Holiday was going to go back to the Pelicans. But sounds like Mark Cuban and the team are going to try to get Drew Holiday to the Mavericks. And then number 10, the Kings ended up trading the rights to Zach Collins for the 15th and the 20th pick. So, yeah. And so that's the top 10. To Portland. So Portland got Zach Collins, which is going to be a good backup for their main center. And then so with the 15th pick, the Kings drafted Justin Jackson, who is going to be good. He's got to work on his defensive game a little bit. He's got to work on beefing up, gaining some weight, because he's kind of underweight. So that'd be good to work on if he can. And then with the 20th pick, we got Henry Giles, which was, in my opinion, that was a great pickup for us. In a lot of other people's opinions, it wasn't. But you got to remember, even though the kid had 3 knee surgeries, you got to just wait and hope and pray that he will get better over time. But I think that Giles will be able to come in and be a really good driving force behind Scal, and he'll end up being really solid in the NBA. He'll probably spend a good majority of the first year down in the development league, but that's to be expected because he's got to work on his game just a little bit. But being ranked number 1 among 2016 high school prospects is pretty crazy. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens in this crazy world of basketball. Moving on to their second rounder, number 34. They were waiting to see if he would be there, and they did get Frank Mason at the number 34 pick. Was to be expected. Everyone was liking him. They brought him in for a second interview, so that was all fine and dandy. And no one. No one. I don't think there's a lot of people in the NBA that can say that they dislike, or a lot of people who is a king of the fan or a fan of the Kings that could say that they did not like the fact that we got Frank Mason. He's going to be a good backup point guard for us, and then 3-string if we decide to get something else. But yeah, he's just going to be overall a good player. And so yeah, that's who we got. We got Fox, Jackson, Giles, and Mason. Like I said, only 3 of them will probably be on the opening roster. One of them will be down in the development league, or the Gatorade league now. But but I don't see any of the rookies starting per se. I see, obviously, like I said, Lawson coming back or Collison coming back, and then hopefully they can somehow pry Otto Porter or maybe Jonathan Simmons, or maybe even like just go for Roberson just to like, we all know unless we get something big, we all know that this is not going to be a playoff team automatically. But yeah, and I would totally be okay with going after Paul Millsap as long as it was for the right price. Because if it's for the wrong price, then if it's for a max contract, I'm gonna be very unhappy. Because we don't need to offer some 36-year-old a max contract. So yeah, this draft, in my opinion, was an A+. We are probably the top 3 winners of this draft. I can see the T-Wolves being number 1 just because they got Jimmy Butler out of it. And it didn't really... It cost them a little bit with Zach LaVine, but it didn't really cost them much. And he's back on a team that he'll probably really enjoy being on since he has his old coach. And then... yeah, we're going to have a great lineup. If the lineup stands, it's going to be Fox, Hield, Jackson, Scal, and Willie. So if a little bit gets changed around and we see some plays happen, I see Lawson, Hield, Porter, Scal, or Lawson, Hield, Porter. Yeah, it'll probably still be Scal and Willie, and then have Paul Millsap on the bench. Even though we'd be giving him max contract money, I would still see him more of a bench contributor. He'd be better for scoring wise off the bench. But we'll just have to wait and see what happens. But yeah, I would like to hear your guys' opinions on the draft. How did they draft? Did they draft right? Would you guys give them an A+? But yeah, just leave your comments down below. And it was great going to the event. Really enjoyed being able to be with all you Kings fans and being able to just hang out and relax and get who we got. We got our future. He openly said on live television after he got drafted that he's here to turn the franchise around, which that's big. He wanted to be here for 1, and he wanted to turn the franchise around for 2. So that's huge. So yeah, please comment down below. Keep hitting the like button. I really appreciate your guys' support and the likes and everything you do. And also keep on sharing my videos, because the more we can get it out to Kings fans, the more they'll see that we're still, or even to basketball fans, we're still a strong team. We're still a strong fan base, and people need to know that. And so if we can share the videos out, get people more excited. I don't only talk about Kings basketball, as you've seen. Even in this video, I talked about multiple different teams in this draft. So yeah, we'll just have to wait and see what happens coming forward. But I'm excited for Summer League. I'm excited for free agency, and that'll be the next few videos to come. And so yeah, comment down below. I'll get back to you guys ASAP. Make sure to hit that like button. It shows my support. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. I know you guys could go up to 85 at least, but you know, I'll be happy to see that big old 80 number getting up there. So yeah, and also hit the notifications bell. It'll make sure to get you guys to my content, and I'll have the little indication up in the corner of the screen so you guys can see any of my older videos. A lot of them don't. A lot of them have good content that you guys will like to see. A little bit of banter before the draft, so it's fun to see how people's opinions were before the draft. So yeah, just keep on watching, and I'll catch you guys later, Hoop fans.